Jack quickly walked out of the bar and caught up with Danny, who was about to leave.
Danny Klein!
Jack shouted loudly. Danny stopped in his tracks and turned around. His eyes were cold and guarded.
What do you want to say?
My name is Jack Rivers.
Jack looked him straight in the eye.
I need your help.
Danny frowned.
Help? Who are you?
My father went missing recently.
Jack's voice was firm.
There's a mysterious map in his notebook, and I need to go to the western wilderness to find out the truth.
Danny sneered.
Your father? A boy with no experience going to the western wilderness? You're just courting death.
I don't care. I have to find the truth.
Jack raised his voice a bit. Danny stared at him for a long time and finally said,
You're very persistent.
Yes. I won't give up.
Jack said firmly. Danny was silent for a while and then said,
Beat me, and I'll go with you.
What?
Jack was taken aback for a moment.
Beat me. If you can beat me, I'll go to the western wilderness with you.
Danny repeated. Jack gritted his teeth and nodded.
It's a deal.
The two of them walked to an open area in the backyard of the bar. The moonlight shone on them, making the atmosphere especially cold.
Let's start.
Danny's voice was cold and ruthless. Jack took a deep breath and assumed a fighting stance. Although he knew he was far from Danny's match in strength, he still went all out. In the first round, Danny easily defused all of Jack's attacks and knocked him down with a powerful punch.
Admit defeat. You're no match for me at all.
Danny shouted.
I won't give up.
Jack got up tenaciously. In the second round, Danny increased his offensive. His fists rained down like a shower, leaving Jack black and blue.
Admit defeat. You don't even have the ability to protect yourself.
Danny's voice was full of mockery.
I won't give up.
Jack clenched his teeth and continued to resist. Finally, in the third round, Danny landed a powerful punch on Jack's abdomen, knocking him down heavily.
That's enough! You lost!
Danny shouted. Jack lay on the ground, his face covered in blood, but he still stubbornly raised his head.
I won't give up.
Danny looked at Jack's determination and perseverance, and a complex emotion flashed in his eyes.
All right.
He finally said.
To be honest, if I were you, I'd also go looking for my father and the gold. But remember, I'm not going to look for your father. I'm going to win honor.
Jack was stunned for a moment and then showed a victorious smile.
Thank you.
After the fight with Danny, Jack rested for a day, and there were still bruises on his face from the battle. He decided to follow Old Bill's advice and go to the church in the town to look for Sadie Buckland. The church was located on the edge of the town. It was a simple and solemn building, with a Gothic spire pointing straight up to the sky. The sunlight shone through the stained glass windows and cast dappled light and shadows on the floor. Jack pushed open the door, and the bell rang with a clear sound. It was so quiet inside the church that he could hear his own heartbeat, and there was a faint aroma of incense in the air. In the corridor of the church, Jack saw the figure of a young woman. She was wearing a simple white dress, with her long hair flowing over her shoulders. She was kneeling in front of a pew, praying. Her movements were elegant and devout, as if she were completely isolated from the outside world.
Sadie Buckland?
Jack asked softly. The woman raised her head, revealing a delicate and pretty face. Her eyes were bright and deep, as if they held endless knowledge and wisdom.
Yes. Is there anything I can help you with?
Her voice was gentle and calm. Jack touched the bruises on his face.
I'm injured. Could you please take a look at it for me?
Sadie was slightly surprised and then showed a concerned expression.
Of course. Please come with me.
Sadie led Jack to a small room in the church. The room was filled with all kinds of books and research materials. She took out a bottle of ointment and some bandages from the cabinet and began to treat Jack's wounds.
How did you get this? It looks quite serious.
Sadie's voice had a hint of worry in it.
It was an injury I got during training. I'm preparing for a journey.
Jack said in a low voice. Sadie gently applied the ointment with her fingers, her movements soft and focused.
A journey? Where to?
She asked thoughtfully.
The Western Wilderness. I'm going to find out the truth about my father's disappearance.
Jack's voice was firm. Sadie's hand suddenly stopped.
Looking for the truth? Your father, is he Solomon Rivers?
Yes.
Jack nodded.
He's missing, and I found a mysterious map.
Sadie's eyes lit up.
A map? Are there any special symbols on it?
Yes. There are some ancient symbols. They look like Indian characters.
Jack took out the map. Sadie took the map and examined it carefully.
This is one of the most sacred places for the Indians. Legend has it that there's a power hidden there that can change the world.
She said.
Do you know about the Eye of the Gods?
Jack asked.
Of course. It's one of the oldest sacred places for the Indians. They believe it's the gateway to the world of the gods.
Sadie's voice was filled with excitement.
I need your help.
Jack looked Sadie straight in the eye.
I need someone who knows about Indian culture and ancient civilizations.
Sadie was silent for a while and then showed a brilliant smile.
I was born to uncover these secrets.
Really?
Jack asked in surprise.
Of course. I'm not only a historian but also an archaeologist. I have a deep research on the ancient civilizations in the West.
Sadie stood up. Just then, the door of the room was pushed open. Old Bill's voice came from outside.
It seems my prediction has come true.
Jack turned his head and saw Old Bill standing at the door, with a gratified smile on his face.
You already knew Sadie would join?
Jack asked.
I know Sadie. She has a persistent love for Indian culture.
Old Bill walked over.
I also know Solomon. He would definitely be proud of his son.
Sadie packed her things and prepared to set off with Jack. She said,
I need some time to prepare. I'll bring the necessary archaeological tools and documentary materials.
Thank you. I don't know how to repay you.
Jack said gratefully. Sadie smiled and said,
You're welcome. This is a rare opportunity to uncover a long-buried secret.
The night before Jack was going to set off, Old Bill found him.
Jack, I can't go with you.
Old Bill's voice was hoarse and heavy.
Why?
Jack asked in surprise.
My body doesn't allow me to embark on such a journey anymore. But I can offer you some help.
Old Bill sighed. He took out an old revolver from his pocket and handed it to Jack. He said,
This was left to you by Solomon. It once saved my life.
Jack took the revolver and felt the power it contained.
Thank you.
He said,
Remember, the Western Wilderness is not a place for one person. You need to trust your partners and stay vigilant at all times.
Old Bill admonished. At the same time, on the other side of the town, Ezra Blackwood, the leader of the bounty hunters, was standing on the roof, coldly watching Jack's every move. His eyes were as sharp as a vulture's, as if he had already smelled the scent of his prey. He murmured to himself,
Stupid boy. Do you think you can solve the puzzle left by Solomon Rivers? Let me see how capable you are.
Ezra sent his men to secretly monitor Jack's movements and was ready to launch an attack on him at an appropriate time.